All right, so this is how I would be checking out scholarships. Scholarships.com, to me, it's the classified, it's the Craigslist specifically made, tailored for scholarship seeking. Making a profile here, they'll probably collect information about you, but honestly, it does lead you to a lot of scholarship opportunities. And I've seen students pick this up and start as early as ninth grade. They start stacking up little prizes here and there, $500 write an essay about the future contests, things like that. Later on, when you're a junior, rising senior, you want to start paying attention to the big ticket scholarships. And they mention five, I believe, here. Siemens, CocaCola, Intel, Gates, Dell, each with their own specific requirements. We'll go through them. I'm arguing they are missing one more that's generally pretty big, and that's right here. It's QuestBridge. So let's just go through them. If you are a junior, rising senior, you want to check to see if you're eligible for these because honestly, they could be big factors or kind of tags, um, boosts to your resume, increasing your chance of getting in, kind of thing. In addition to that, it's also free money. I mean, full tuition 4 years these days with inflation and all, what is that? It's almost $500,000. You could get a full ride here. You could be earning $500,000 off the gate just by attending college. So that's why. Anyways, let's start with the first one, Siemens Foundation competition. The Siemens competition in math, science, and technology. Okay, so right away it limits your major choice directions there. Rewards promising high school students for their original research projects by offering scholarship opportunities and national recognition. Any high school student may apply individually or as part of a team. Dang, that's really darn flexible. You just have to keep it within math, science, and technology. Scholarship awards range from $1,000 to $100,000 as students advance in the competition. Applications are due September 30th each year. So this is a pretty early deadline. The only earlier deadline of the big ones I'm going to discuss today is QuestBridge. QuestBridge right here is due, I think, September 27th. We'll cover that last. Coming back to the list, Coca-Cola is next. Coca-Cola, high school seniors carrying a minimum GPA of a 3.0. I would argue that's on the low end, guys, especially if you're in a competitive school or competitive environment. They are not. This is overly generous. I think you essentially need to be a straight A student to be capable of competing, unless obviously your story comes with a lot of caveats or a lot of personal hardships. Anyways, 3.0 GPA can apply for 4-year achievement-based scholarships offered by the Coca-Cola Scholarship Foundation. Each year, 250 4-year scholarships of $10,000 and $20,000 are awarded through this program. So if you luck out just right, 4-year scholarship of $20,000 each year, $80,000. Not bad, not bad. The application deadline is October 31st. That's the day before most of the early deadlines. So just keep that in mind. Most earlies for college applications is around November 1st. Intel Science Talent Search. The Science Talent Search is a scholarship contest in which the best and brightest high school seniors can demonstrate their research projects for the chance to win a $100,000 college scholarship. So you have to be a high school senior each year. So you're applying for this as you are applying for colleges. I'm assuming, yeah. So each year, 40 finalists are selected to present their research at a week-long national conference. Finalists receive $5,000 scholarships and have a chance to compete for the grand prize. The application deadline is November 20th. So November 20th is pretty much after early. November 1st for earlies. November 30th for the UC systems. There's a couple of other systems that are due December 1st for merit scholarships. So it's right around that time. You would be competing for this mainly to boost you more towards when you're applying for regular schools. Still really good. And of course, obviously, you can get a big, juicy scholarship. Gates Millennium Scholarship. The Gates Millennium Scholars Program, funded by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, awards scholarships to minority students who are eligible to receive federal Pell Grants and have achieved academic excellence in the high school. So let me translate this for you guys, okay? If you're interested in the Gates, you have to be one of the following. You have to be a minority student, so there needs to be some sort of socioeconomic factor that made your educational path extremely difficult, financially very destitute, or obviously, maybe coming from like social or cultural backgrounds that are potentially that put you at a disadvantage. Okay, this is the question. Like I would get here is do Asians count as a minority student? It is my experience that there are some. It kind of depends on whether you're more of either Chinese, Korean, or Japanese, I'd say. Those I don't consider to be minority applicants. I don't consider them to be minority applicants for the U.S. college admissions process. So, have I seen a Korean student, for example, get into Gates? I think I have. Maybe I'm mixing it up. I think I have, and it comes from the fact that it's usually like a hardship, financial hardship, most likely. That leads us to the second point or the second kind of eligibility requirement they're summarizing here, the federal Pell Grants. Essentially, I think you have to I have to ballpark this, but I think the income needs to be under 65 grand a year because that's what I see QuestBridge requires. So it's somewhere around there that I've seen students be successful in getting a Gates scholarship or a QuestBridge scholarship. So the scholarship, third part, academic excellence. I think you need to essentially be a straight A student to pull this off. Okay. The scholarship helps students cover the portion of their college costs not funded by other grants and scholarship awards. Okay, so it's not a full ride outright. They're not writing you a massive check. Instead, they are filling in the holes of where your financial aid application would otherwise not be able to cover. So they are making this for students who are going to be applying for financial aid. You have to be eligible for it, right? So you would apply anyways. So just keep that in mind. This is much more about a financial aid scholarship supplement. Scholarship applicants must be nominated by an educator familiar with their academic backgrounds. That's interesting word choice to me. Educator. Educator could mean like a violin teacher who's taught you for 10 years, right? Why would they exclude that? I think that we'd have to go onto the Gates website and try to see if they have any more restrictions for this. But generally, it's been a teacher, it's been a counselor. I've had students decide to go up to a teacher and ask if they could be nominated, if they ask the teacher to nominate them for them, right? So it's not that big of a deal there. Applications are due January 15th. So you would have applied for almost the vast majority of your private schools if you're aiming for like top 30s, because those are typically due January 1st to January 15th. So it's due when college applications are typically due. Dell Scholars Program. The Dell Scholars Program, sponsored by Michael and Susan Dell Foundation, carries an award of $20,000 to help students complete their college education. Interesting word choice, to complete. So they want you to finish it. Cool. High school seniors who have financial need and plan to enroll immediately in a bachelor's degree programs can qualify by enrolling in approved college readiness programs as high school students and completing a Dell scholarship application online. Okay. I don't think this is really that relevant for most of us. I think it's just, you just have to be a high school senior, and the applications open up November 1st, whereas the deadline is January 15th. This seems more like it doesn't. Do you see how it doesn't have anything about minority student or eligibility for Pell Grants? I think this is kind of a broader application. So for students who don't meet the other qualifications that are more stringent, Dell might be the best option for you. You might want to check that out. The others seem like you need to have some sort of science background, science research. You have to be a minority, or you have to have a certain kind of standing. Hopefully this is something all you students will be checking out. Let's check out the last one, actually, which is QuestBridge. QuestBridge is specific. It's a multi-step process. It's kind of complicated, but you just have to check if you're eligible. I think that's where I'd go. So high school students who should apply, and that gets you to the eligibility contexts. So I think the main factor here has to do not just with the academics. Look how cleanly they determine all this. Oh, it's right here. It's the financial aid. The financial element. Finalists typically come from households earning less than $65,000 a year annually by a typical household of four. They will ask for proof of this, like tax returns. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, these are the scholarships that you should be checking to see if you are eligible for. And if you are, you should get off your butt and do it, because it's free cash. It also can increase your chances of getting in if you even make it to a semifinalist, finalist kind of position. And lastly, I think it'll also help you with essays too, honestly. I think like many of these, for example, QuestBridge has so many essays you got to write. It's a lot. And writing them is good because they overlap a lot with college supplemental prompts. So by getting a start on potentially getting more funds, more money, you're also getting a head start on college essays too, because some of these deadlines are earlier. Please keep that in mind. By the way, QuestBridge deadline, September 27th. I think I'll leave it at that. Alrighty, guys. I hope this was helpful.